All right, so in this bonus section here titled Why Your Health Matters, I want to address a topic that happens to be one of the biggest concerns that we have in our business. And it really deals with a very sensitive subject, which is our health. Now, in order for this bonus section to make sense, let me just walk you through what our process typically looks like. Generally, once somebody goes through the education and they figured out which carrier and which benefits make the most sense for them, for an amount they feel is the most reasonable or affordable, then they pick a carrier and they fill out an application and they apply to that particular insurance company for coverage. Now, just because somebody fills out an application doesn't necessarily mean that the process is done. In fact, that's what starts the process. Now, from there, it goes into what's referred to as underwriting, which generally takes about 6 to 8 weeks. And this is where the insurance company is now doing their due diligence on the applicant. So what they'll do is they'll look through the application itself and they'll get a copy of your medical records from your doctor. Perhaps they'll do a telephone interview where they'll ask you a series of questions and see how good your memory recall is. They may require a face-to-face interview. Or even on top of these three things, if you've not had a physical in the last year and a half, they may require that as part of the process too. So the application goes into underwriting. The insurance company is now evaluating to see if you qualify for preferred health rates or standard rates, or even if you get this coverage whatsoever. Now, once they issue the policy, then it gets sent to our office. We get it to you, sit down together or go through it over the telephone, and even after your policy is issued, you actually get a 30-day free look period to make any additional changes, modifications, or even cancel the policy whatsoever. So that's based on an application being started, going through the evaluation process, getting approved, and then coming back and they actually issue a policy, as you'll see here on the screen. Now, one of the dreaded situations that could occur, this is a sample of a letter that one of my clients received who went through the full underwriting process, and then ultimately it said, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, thank you for submitting your application for long-term care coverage. As part of the application process, several underwriting methods are reviewed, including the application, phone interview, personal interview, and medical records. We have given careful consideration to your information. We are unable to offer you long-term care coverage according to our underwriting guidelines based on the aggregate of your health history of," and then they listed out, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. This is one of the most devastating parts of our business because the individual is now fully aware of the risk. They wanted to take action to protect against this, and now they're being told that they can never get this coverage again. In fact, the letter, you can't see it here, but it goes on to state that they're not going to open this back up for reconsideration at any point in the future. And this is a very challenging part of the business because a lot of times people wait until it's too late. Now, here's a chart from the American Association for Long-Term Care Insurance, and you'll see here that the chart shows different age groups: people under the age of 50, people between 50 and 59, 60 and 69, 70, that should say 70 to 80 actually, and then 80 and above. And you'll notice here, this is the percentage of the applicants who are declined, and the ratio gets higher and higher as we get older and older. So the best chances that you have to apply for coverage and to get the best health rates possible is the younger we are. So it's a really important piece that everybody should pretty much take notice of. Now, if you're in the preliminary stages and you want to get an idea of whether or not you would qualify without going through the formal process of an application, or you want to know kind of at what rate you would qualify for, we've actually created what's referred to as a preliminary health underwriting screening sheet. It's a 2-page health questionnaire, and we can actually submit this to an insurance company with no name on it and get an idea of whether or not they would approve your application, and if so, at what rate. So I actually put a sample of this form right down below, and you can actually click on that and you can send it, you can scan it and email it to us, and then we will actually start this process for you if you wanted to get a preliminary idea. So I can't stress enough how important it is to focus on qualifying for this coverage while you can. You know, JFK actually has a great quote, and he says, "The time to fix the hole in your roof is when the sun is shining." And you can imagine that most people don't worry about the hole in the roof when it's sunny out, but when the monsoon comes, then obviously the hole in the ceiling becomes the number one priority. And we don't want that to be your situation with your long-term care planning and whether or not you qualify. So if you're in good enough health today or you feel pretty good, that's the time to get this coverage in place. Don't wait till the middle of a monsoon to try to get this coverage, because chances are it won't be offered to you. So your health does matter. In fact, it's the single most important ingredient in the whole decision about long-term care. Money doesn't buy long-term care insurance. Your health actually buys it. Money just pays the premium. So get the coverage while you can, and if you want to click below for the sheet, we'll be happy to help you on any preliminary basis.